We collected over 3,500 tires between April and December. So the DEP wanted us to continue it on this year.
How are you, sir?
Doing well yourself?
Doing well. The president sits there.
Okay,
That's the
that's what
only
I
one that we,
figured. That's
you
the
can,
only one.
you can take that one, or wherever you want to go. All right.
We don't really have a signed seat.
I feel like you gotta be too important to sit over there.
If that's the case, I wouldn't be sitting here.
So David and Nick were both of them, so Larry had a meeting coming still, so he won't be present, but we have a also
Without them. By the way, I appreciate y'all attending. Y'all don't understand, sometimes it's a challenge to get a quorum, right? But now that both of y'all are on board, now we should have a quorum just about every meeting. So,
Yeah, I will, as long as I don't have to say you're out of town.
yeah,
I
appreciate
made
it.
a commitment,
I'm not really sure. I'm kind of, well, I started, I think it was in September of this past year. So there's still some parts of this whole DAEA thing that come up that I don't even really know what to do with and have to research and find out, but learn as we go, right? And so we'll see what we can do with it. But it starts with having board members and having them show up, right? And so I appreciate it. Charity, how do you say your last name?
Lure.
Lure? Okay.
Are you related to a Carly?
Yes. Yes, she is my husband's cousin. And we actually adopted a girl, and her name is Carly, so there's two Carly Fleurs. Oh, okay.
Friends once upon a time.
I don't see her very often, but I hear she's doing really well.
Actually, no. No, I didn't put it in my budget at this point, so the commissioner and I will meet about it to see if we can create something. I did talk to Kanawha County, and I got some of their guidelines, so that's one of the things that we've done. So. Hi, Larry. We're live.
Other places to be. Thanks for attending, Larry. Appreciate it.
Let's go. My apologies. So roll call
All right, Mr. Smoot,
here.
David is out. Miss Charity is our newest member, if you haven't
Welcome.
had a chance to meet her.
Good morning.
Flewers, right?
Fluer.
Flumer?
Fluer.
Fluer. All right. Sheriff, you're here. Nick is out as well, and Mr. Hodgson.
I'm here.
He's here, so we got 4 of the 6, we have a quorum.
All right. So is there action to be taken on the minutes of February 2, 22?
I think we've all reviewed those minutes, so I make a motion, we approve those minutes as posted.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any other further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye. Citizen concerns, any?
None that I've heard, so.
Unfinished business.
All
Case
right.
2216.
So you should have your agenda on the top page, the minutes from February behind that, and then the very first picture is DAEA case 2022-16. This was brought up by David, and I think a couple of citizens have actually contacted him prior to the last meeting about a couple of properties across the river that have just kind of sat there stagnant for a minute. So this is one of them. We said we would put it on today's agenda. I don't really know what direction we can go, if we can go a direction, but you'll see the photos. Structure has been partially demoed, and then essentially just a large trash pile is sitting there. The original order that required this to be cleaned up was recorded, the final one was recorded July 29th of 2022. So we're past the point of what a typical DAEA situation would look like with this. The final order has already been issued, and clearly it's sitting there. So
What kind of building is that?
Is-
from the notes in the file, it used to be an old church, or a church of some
It's that house.
type.
Didn't we talk about this last meeting?
Yeah, we talked about it last meeting. David actually had brought it up. Like I said, I think a citizen of some sort, I don't know who it was, had approached him outside of our DAEA meeting and was asking questions about this, why nothing was being done about it. So David said that we would put it on our agenda for this month and just get some direction. I don't know what y'all can do, what y'all would do.
But this has been, this landowner was notified already, correct?
Oh, yeah, this has gone through what I call the complete DAEA process. It's gone through this board once, it's been to the county commission twice, where the order, and then the final order that was recorded in July. And it's sitting there stagnant. So I don't know what the next step would be, but we promised we'd put it on the agenda, so.
Our office had offered to tear this down at one point a few years ago, and that offer was declined by the property owner.
Really?
Are the taxes current on this property?
They weren't as of they had not been paid as of last month. I need to check it because if they don't pay it this month, then it's going to the state, right? So we're running behind. From my personal opinion, I don't know if y'all have ever done this before or if it can be done, probably something I should have asked Larry before I asked this. Normally we make motions to remove trailers, remove debris, that type of thing. I don't know if y'all have ever had a motion where you supported hiring a contractor to do the work.
There's only so much, the issue with that has always been, there's only so much money that we can spend to do that.
Yeah.
And I was about ready to make the
So
motion.
if appropriate, if the funds are available, let's make a motion to get a contractor to finish the work.
That's-
If appropriate and
Um,
if financially feasible.
What I believe will happen with this property is they will not pay taxes
Yeah,
because the property is only as valuable as the river.
yeah,
So I think it'll go to taxes, but it still remains our problem.
yeah.
And at some point, it will come back to the county after it goes to the tax, after it goes to the state. So I make a motion that the county commission contract a company to remove what's left of this structure and just do a complete cleanup of the area. Make a motion to the county commission. We send it to the county commission for funding for cleanup.
All right, motion on the floor, is there a second?
I second.
Any further comments or questions?
Charity, just in discussion, Charity, your division doesn't have any money for that at this time, correct? Not
No.
for this fight?
No, we don't do demolitions
Okay.
anymore.
All right, thank you very much. That's it.
Okay, all in favor signify by aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Just one comment. And I don't know how you get to it. I don't know if we can get to it, but I've been doing a lot of legislative work over the last month, and I ran across something from DEP, and you probably know better than I, but the dilapidated, there is a fund set up, or is there a fund trying to be set up?
There is a fund set up. It was passed in legislature, I believe, last year. Senate Bill 368. There is a fund set up. There was $10 million in that account. The DEP is overseeing it. I know both of the people that's on that committee. And I know they have given out over 9 million of that. There was a second survey sent out, I believe, in January, and I would have to confirm with Jeremy, but I do believe that they did submit the second survey to see if they can get any grant funding.
Well, what has sparked my interest, I saw a bill that's just, it's laying there in committee this year and it's out of the House to allocate $10 million out of the coronavirus money that came into the state. But that thing's not going anywhere. But, so are we entitled to that? Can we get that money?
County commissions and municipalities can apply for that money, yes.
Good. So that could be a funding source.
Yes.
I know a lot of our grant, not just this, but a lot of our grant work is done through Tim.
Right.
in Jeremy's office.
Yeah,
I don't want to speak on their behalf, but I would assume that if it's something that we could apply for, that it would be worth attempting to try to get some money out of.
Jeremy is aware of the grant. I've spoke to him and David both about it.
Well, there you go.
good, cool. All right,
This is little JB McCuskey's babies.
Yes.
This is how this came through fruition, the clean up West Virginia thing.
Right.
A lot of our southern coalfield communities have got a lot of this money. And I'll just make a comment on that, and you probably know this more than anything. I think the town of Williamson just had five homes, or abandoned homes burned. Did you see that?
No.
They made an arrest. We just need to make sure we don't get into that. Town of Williamson which is pretty dilapidated in itself. And Orson destroyed 5
Really?
homes.
I will say with that grant too, that can be used on meth homes, whereas in the past, the grants through the DEP cannot be used on meth homes.
Okay.
Which my law enforcement side of it, to find a meth lab, active meth lab in today's community would be a needle in a haystack. You just don't find them anymore. People don't make meth. So that's pretty easy to go away from.
all right. Case 2022-68.
All right, 2022-68, 61 4th Avenue South in Hometown, West Virginia. So this was on our agenda last month. If you recall, the owner, well, first of all, this is tabled, so we probably need to have a motion to take it off the table.
All right, is there a motion to remove it from being on, to be active?
I make a motion to make.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
All right, so this was on our agenda last month. The owner sent us a letter requesting time to where he could clean up the property and get it secure. Photos are in your packet showing that he's done that. The structure is structurally sound. It is also now secure. The lot has been cleaned up. I'm not sure, I mean, in my personal opinion, I don't know if it's the most pleasing to look at, but I don't know if there's a violation there anymore.
In the spirit of this committee, that he's done what we've asked him.
Yeah, he's done, I feel like he's done what he should have done, and so I'm asking for a dismissal on this.
I make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Does John Farrar own that? Who owns that?
A company called NAJ, I think they're based out of Charleston.
That's the,
They buy
yeah,
properties like that, I believe. But,
they burn stuff. I think.
All right, so we got a motion and a second, did we vote on it?
All in favor, we've done that, so it passed.
All right, so moving on to 2023-01, 70 Fruth Addition Road. This was also tabled at our last meeting, so we need a motion to take this one off the table.
Is there a motion to remove it from the table?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
All right, this is another one, before and after photos are in your packet. The lady went above and beyond, I think, trying to get this property cleaned up. Visually, again, are the trailers pleasant to look at? Maybe not, but I don't think they are structurally unsound. I don't think they're, I think they're secure, so she hauled off a ton of trash. She cleaned up the burn piles. She removed the cars that were inoperable. Looks much better in my opinion.
Does it sort of conform to the neighborhood?
It's right next to a greenery, like
It's greenhouse.
a greenhouse, and there's a couple of single-family residential houses across the street. Again, you know,
Utilities going to the one, I'm looking at the after, okay? And make a comment that they've done a good job
yeah.
for what it is. But is there somebody living in there, Cam?
I can't confirm that. What I can say is this. people living in a camper is a planning and zoning violation. You have to have a special type of permit if you're going to do that, which is separate from DAEA. So in my opinion, the DAEA issues have been addressed. Living in a trailer is a separated issue in a planning office. We can address that separately outside of DAEA. I'm not sure exactly, I know David writes letters and can issue citations, I guess. I'm not sure how he is going to address that, but if there is somebody living in there, which I can't prove it, I don't know, short of, showing up and knocking on the door and asking to see inside, I don't know really how we could, but it's on our list,
Okay, it's on your list in planning or,
planning.
okay,
It's not really DAEA is dilapidated and abandoned, right? And so living in a trailer is kind of outside that premise. But it is a violation in the planning and zoning office that will be addressed if we can address it at all.
I'll make a motion, we close this case with the understanding that planning is taking care of the other part of it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further comments or questions? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
I will say too, just quickly, the mother is the owner of the property who works at the post office in Eleanor. So I've spoke with the mother a couple of times. Her daughter is the one that lives on this property. And from my conversations with the mother, the daughter is the only one living on the property.
That is not correct. And the mother knows this because there's a young man that lives there that we've talked to who has issues, and he's the one that is usually the one making the mess. So we'll close it at this time with the full expectation that it goes back to the family.
Okay?
The neighbors in the area across the street that have the really nice homes, they
Yes.
have contacted me and said, thanks for everything you've done there.
Okay.
So do we need to pass that, or do we pass that? I know the motion's on the floor. We good?
Yeah, we're good. Y'all voted on it here.
Okay, all right. 2023-02.
Moving on to new business. Okay, so if you'll recall, it's been a few months ago at this point, but the county got a request from a private property owner to demo a structure. They couldn't afford to do it, so the county went through a process, and the owner agreed to have a lien placed on their property, and then the county came in, did the contractor work, cleaned the property up, and we placed a lien on the property. That happened a few months ago. 77 Marina Park Drive is a very similar situation. It's pretty much the exact same situation. This was not originally a DAEA case at all. The owner contacted our office. She lives in Colorado. Her two children also live in Colorado. And Josh, who is the brother who has an ownership interest in this as well, he lives here, right? So Josh, who has an ownership interest, as well as the two children who live in Colorado, all three have signed a form agreeing that if we choose to do the work, and if we will do the work, and we will remove this structure, they will be in agreement to have a lien placed on the property to cover those costs. Very similar to the first time we did this with a previous structure. Very same document. Larry's done all that type of stuff. So that's what this is here for. Here's my opinion, just my opinion, take it for what it's worth. The structure on the outside and structurally, I don't know about the inside, but on the outside, it does not look like our typical DAEA cases. And circling back to our conversation we had regarding limited funds, I think if we're having to prioritize what properties we need to demo and clean up with our limited funds, I don't know if this is the one that we want to spend our money on as opposed to the church across the river or some other thing, right?
So do I understand you right, that they just made a request for us to deal with this, and this doesn't even fit in our jurisdiction?
The only mechanism the county, so to answer, yes, they made a request for the county to demo their property.
But does it fit in our jurisdiction of this board?
It is not, from the outside, it does not look dilapidated or abandoned. And when I was there the last time, there was a car in the driveway.
Why did they request it? Other than they just not want the hassle?
From what I understand, there was I think the gentleman's name was Orville. There was a gentleman that lived in the trailer who has since passed away.
Oh,
And April and her children who live in Colorado don't want to deal with it. And I believe Josh, who lives in this area, also doesn't really want to deal with it. The story I've been told is there's people that are living in it right now that either don't have permission to live in it, or they don't want them living in it, or some, I don't know exactly what that whole dynamic looks like, or what that is. That would be a private issue amongst themselves. Are you asking me, does this structure look unsafe or unsecure?
no, I'm asking you if,
I
to
don't
me,
think so.
the pictures of this structure do not represent what this agency is about. And if it doesn't, then we don't need to.
I
address
agree.
it.
I agree.
I agree.
And so my request, I haven't told the owner this, I haven't told really anybody this. My request would be, if it doesn't meet that threshold, that we essentially recommend that we don't comply with their request. This does not meet DAEA threshold.
Does that need to be in the form of a motion, or is it can just? be
Every
staff
single, so the way the system is set up, there is not an exit ramp. So every single DAEA case has to go from start all the way through county commission to finish, right? So there has to be a motion from this board, either of some sort, that I can take to the county commission for them to then dismiss.
Is
If
there
we
a
want to
motion for us to
if we want to
dismiss
dismiss this case, it's a dismissal order, so.
Well, I'll make a motion, we dismiss this case because it doesn't fall into our
Yeah,
criteria.
I
Because-
second that, because if you start with one, you're going to have more.
It's not our job to maintain other people's property, even though they want to sign
Yeah.
I agree, and I think if we,
That they'll never pay.
if we have limited funds, and if we ever actually do get into the business of cleaning up property and our funds are limited, I think there's other properties throughout Putnam County that would probably take a higher priority than this, in my personal opinion.
You're right.
And I can give you the phone number of somebody who could do it very cheap.
Okay, and I will give them that.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of money sitting there, scrap for somebody.
That's
Yeah,
what,
they
we
just-
have a contractor that we
Looking
work
for an easy
with
way.
trailers, and that's what he does. He recycles the aluminum. And it
Well, that's the
cuts
least I
cost.
can do, I will wait for the denial order to be approved by county commission, and then, I will provide, if you'll give me that information, I'll give that to the owner and let them, work that out. But, so I need the dismissal in the form of a motion. I think I got sheriff and, Charity is the first and second. I don't know if we voted.
All in favor, signify by aye. Ayes have it.
All right.
Case 2022, or 2023-03. Looks like a fire.
All right, so this one, I believe I'm still waiting on the certified letter. Yeah, I haven't got the certified letter back. The owner hasn't signed the signature card, but that doesn't mean I can't put it on your radar. We just can't take and make a motion on it, so this will be one of the cases that's on next month's agenda. This property sits across the parking lot, essentially, of Midway Methodist Church, I believe is the church. As you can tell, some of the storage buildings, the door's not there, so as far as like securing it, I think putting a door on some of them. Now, the house is obviously got some issues, right, that need to be addressed, not just putting a door on it, but I'm hoping I can contact the owner and work with them to get some sort of plan in place.
Is this just water damage or is this a fight?
I haven't had a chance to talk to him,
That siding looks like a fire.
Yeah.
and so I'll find out more hopefully by the next meeting in regards to this. I haven't got the letter yet, haven't really had a chance to talk to the owner, so it's on our radar, so if anybody's complaining about it, you hear anybody from the church calling, just know that we're working on it. And it's working its way through the process right now, so. Next month, hopefully we can take some action. Okay? That's all I have. I can jump to the staff report real quick, just in case anybody else gets any additional calls. Birdie Court, trailer park with Birdie Court, it's been a DAEA case. Progress is still continuing to be made. I talked to the owner yesterday. There's a gentleman that originally turned in the complaint, Mr. King, and anyway, there's some personal disagreements between the owner and Mr. King as far as what's going on there, but hopefully that situation will be resolved sooner rather than later, and I'll be coming through to get a dismissal on that in the near future. So hopefully Birdie Court will be cleaned up and or as cleaned up as we can make it from a DAEA standpoint, so.
Who needs to sign?
If you will
I
sign the
do.
minutes on that, I will have to wait until,
Destiny was always the one to sign. So I don't know if we need to appoint.
I
Officers,
honestly
I don't
haven't
know.
got a copy of the minutes here. Can I see a copy of your minutes?
Last month.
Last one. Board president and vice president. So that would be you and David. So David's out.
Good. Bobby signed.
If you've signed it, I'll take the one that you've signed, and David will be back next Monday. He had to go out of town.
Whatever.
We'll get his signature at that point.
All right.
Good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Terry, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Charity's a wealth of information when it comes to this kind of stuff, too. So I'm glad-
I just want to say, like I said
You should've
earlier,
been on
I
this thing a
appreciate
long
y'all
time
showing
ago.
up because,
Should have been here a long time ago.
you know, as complex or as
Somebody said-
challenging as some of these things are, it starts with having board members show up. We can't do anything until people show up, right? And so I appreciate y'all guys taking the time.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We're out.
Thank you.
Together.
Yep.